Let's move to the NFC. Green Bay Packers at the Tampa Bay Bucks. Because Tom Brady decided to go to the Bucks, we get another Aaron Rodgers versus Tom Brady matchup.
Yeah.
We got
the
two
Super
Brady
Bowl
breezes.
that you've been looking for the past
I have predicted
15 years.
Yes, I predicted Rodgers versus Brady in the Super Bowl, Packers Patriots every year since
now it can't
2010.
happen.
Yeah.
Not unless Rodgers goes somewhere else.
Now it just happens in week 6.
Yeah.
It happened a couple years ago on Sunday Night Football, Patriots and Packers.
NFC Central battle now.
Yes, the NFC Central. Your bright orange Bucks.
Yeah.
In the
Packers.
They
went pewter. It's still in the Central, I think.
They did. They did have some pewter years. We always start with the quarterbacks. It's the most important thing. It's Brady versus Rodgers. I think the interesting facet here is Green Bay from an offensive standpoint. Aaron Rodgers is playing great, but they're also doing everything right, quote unquote right offensively. The aggressiveness, pass when you're supposed run, pass when they think you're going to run, using motion, scheming guys open. All of it's good for Green Bay right now.
Yep.
I feel like Tampa Bay in the Bruce Arians system run by Byron Leftwich has been so dependent on deep passes, dependent on Brady making really good downfield throws, very much the opposite of Brady's career, where it's just a lot of boom or bust. Are you making great throws or are you not? And that's how the offense is going to move. There's not all the stuff in between. There's not enough play action. There's not enough open intermediate throws, all that stuff. So I think Tampa Bay needs to make an adjustment offensively. And I want to see if Green Bay can keep this going, because this isn't really Matt LaFleur's career. He hasn't been an elite play caller. His offenses haven't had elite play calling tendencies, and they do this year.
Yeah, but the stuff that's changed isn't something I imagine you just stop doing one week. Like they've become one of the most they've become a team that uses motion and bunch formations and stack releases and those kinds of things more than most teams in the NFL. Like that isn't something that you just luck into by a skew of plays that you call. It's like a conscious decision that, hey, all these things that we weren't doing, the low-hanging fruit that we were leaving on the tree, we're just going to start picking it up, because why wouldn't you, right? And the reason potentially that they didn't before is because Rodgers just didn't like that. If he's decided that, it's worth it, it may make me a little bit uncomfortable, but like it's a net win because look at all the free plays we get.
Right.
Then why would it stop? Why would they stop doing that midway through the season? And that's what, to me, this Aaron Rodgers, it changes the balance of power in the NFL from what we thought it was heading into the season, right? We weren't really considering Green Bay one of the very best teams. I know they went 13-3, but there was a sense that they overachieved last year. And when they went up against a legit team, as in one of the very best, the 49ers, they just got annihilated, right?
Right. And they had multiple games where they could not move the ball and they scored 10 points.
Right. So there was this feeling that, well, look, they then went out and didn't get better, right? Everything about their draft was centered around the future, not necessarily about now.
Right.
And so why would they be a dominant force in 2020? But they are, because the two things that changed are they schemed up the offense and actually took advantage of all the free things that everyone else does. And oh, by the way, the greatest of all time quarterback that you have when he's playing at his best is going to be back at that level this season. The guy that you thought wasn't there anymore, turns out he is, and he might be pissed now because you just drafted his replacement. So those things make the Packers like one of the best teams in the NFL, if not the best team in the NFL. And I don't think that's disappearing. Like, there's some problems with this roster. There's problems with every roster, but those two things represent a fundamental shift. Damn it, fundamental. I did it. Somebody complained about me using fundamental. That's the one. Trigger. One this week, no more.
I've turned into a teenage girl saying like all the time.
Okay. They represent a foundational shift in what the Packers are capable of this season.
Well done.
Thank you.
A lot of our analysis is, here's what's happening through 4 or 5 weeks. Will that continue? My question is on Aaron Rodgers, playing at a 96.3 PFF grade level. Is this an awesome 4-game stretch, or he has to regress? I'm the only quarterback with no turnover-worthy plays. His accuracy is at, just ball location-wise, it's at the best level we've seen since we started tracking it. It's not even close. His short area accuracy the last couple of years wasn't great. He hasn't been the greatest catch and run, put it on the front number. All of that stuff is fantastic this year. Plus that confidence level where I'll make that throw. He'll just make any throw and execute it. Can he keep that up?
I don't see a reason why he can.
All right, so they're winning the Super Bowl.
Sure. The other big problem with this game, though, or the big problem with this game is, like we've been talking about, Tom Brady last year wasn't a fair reflection of what Tom Brady can be because no receivers in New England made the offensive line worse, blah, blah, right? He's in the same situation now at Tampa Bay. They have a lot of talent at receiver, but they're all injured.
Do you want their questionable list?
It's everybody. It's all of his receivers.
Yeah. I don't think they've had all those. Mike Evans, they all played together week 1, and Mike Evans was limping through with a hamstring injury. So they really haven't had full strength, everybody.
Yeah.
I do think this offense, even though I was saying, hey, maybe they're too dependent on the downfield passing attack. If it's Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, there's no more O.J. Howard, but you've got Gronk and Brait at tight end and Scotty Miller. Mm-hmm. I think they're formidable, right? And Brady's playing well enough that they're...
Tyler Johnson making a couple of plays.
Tyler Johnson did make some plays.
He's still there.
You could tell he's like a little off and looks like a rookie at times, but you could see the skill level too. I think they'll be okay. But yeah, Chris Godwin's health coming off of first a concussion, then a hamstring. Mike Evans coming off of a hamstring and an ankle. It's adding up. And Gronk just,
The Bucs feel like a team that might be really, really good in the postseason. But they're like... You know what I mean? Like a team that's going to deal with injuries for like 10 weeks. And if they can just cling on and be in position to be, not sunk 10 weeks into the season, then you're going to get everybody healthy. And suddenly this thing's going to be cooking on gas. And you actually have to really worry about this potential wild card team that can run the table and, beat everybody in the playoffs. What's your problem?
What is this?
This is the Cincinnati skyline with the Paul Brown Stadium.
Where are our headshots?
I think Tyler screwed us.
Has someone not seen the rider? I need my headshots.
Either that or David being in the building.
Thank you. This is unacceptable. 4 interns are getting fired here today.
For anybody listening, this is all meaningless, but our headshots on the studio weren't where they should be. So we've made the adjustment and everything is right with the world now.
Also, disclaimer, no interns were actually harmed during this show.
Nice.
They will not be
fired. You make a good terms and conditions guy.
Well, you'll see.
You should see if that gig's open.
I heard the Chris Collinsworth podcast needs a better terms and conditions guy. So
better one.
I'm going to throw him.
I thought he was very good.
George did a nice job. I think he could be better.
Okay.
Well, a lot of inside baseball there. So Green Bay favored by 1 at Tampa Bay. What are your thoughts? Where are you going on this one?
This felt like I think the line has moved in Green Bay's direction. This felt like one where I think people were potentially overlooking Tampa Bay based off the struggles against Chicago.
The Bears game, right.
But everybody's hurt. So what you gain in terms of, they're not as bad as that. I think you lose in the fact that everybody is still injured. And he's, Tom Brady's problem is that he can't be the transcendent quarterback that he once was anymore, right? In the same way that Phillip Rivers needs help from the offensive line and Ben Roethlisberger needs to be more of a game manager, Tom Brady cannot raise the tide around him and make all the ships float. He needs help, and he doesn't have help at the moment. So later in the year, I think we're going to be talking about the Bucs as a really good team. Right now, Brady doesn't have the help he needs.
I think...
Also, we can't remember how many downs there are.
That was weird. He's even making fun of himself on social media, which is great. I think Godwin and Evans will be okay. Scott, I think they're all going to play, and they're going to be okay. I'm expecting a shootout. I think people are sleeping on the Bucs just a little bit because it was just they got up early against the Bears and then got stopped. I think it's a good one. I would lean Green Bay because of the way Rodgers is playing, because of all of the improvements that they've made. I think we're talking shootout in Tampa Bay here, though, with NFC playoff ramifications. So it's going to be awesome.
NFC Central.
You want to get rid of me and get back to more great PFF YouTube content? All you have to do is push that button right there and subscribe. Thanks for watching.